Hello, fifth graders. Welcome to week 8 together. Can you believe it? We have already worked together for 8 weeks. That's crazy to me. This week, this is the only reading lesson I have for you. This is technically day 2 for reading of the week, but we didn't have school on Monday. So welcome to reading lesson day 1, day 2. Either one works. Today for reading, we have a review assignment for you. There's only one assignment, one Google form. I think it's 15 questions, something like that. So should be a pretty quick day, but some of the questions on there might require you to think a little bit. So over the last 8 weeks, we've covered what seems like a lot of different things, but what all kind of tied together to a few main topics. We talked about figurative language, we talked about theme, we talked about text and graphic features, and we talked about vocab and how to define a vocab word based on how it's used in a story. So that is what today's assignment is going to cover. If you need a lot of review on one of these topics, please go back and watch one of the videos I made. But if you just need a little bit of review, that's what I'm going to do right now. So the first thing I'm quickly going to review is figurative language. We talked about 3 main types of figurative language. The first one was a simile. If you remember, similes compare things, compares one thing to another using like or as. So I think an example I gave you was, what was an example? Her cheeks were like roses. We weren't saying that her cheeks were actually roses. We're just saying that they're like roses. Another type of figurative language that we talked about were metaphors. Metaphors compare one thing to another, though they're seemingly unrelated. So an example of this would be, his room was a pigsty. His room is not actually a pigsty, but we are comparing how messy his room is to how messy a pigsty could be. And then the last type of figurative language that we talked about was personification. This one's my favorite kind because I think it's really fun. So this is describing something non-human using human attributes. So like the river ran very smoothly. The river is not actually running, but humans can run. So that's our human attribute that we're giving the river. Okay, if you need more review on figurative language than that, please go back. You can look at assignments you've done in the past, or you can rewatch videos. The form is going to ask you to define each of these 3 types. And then I think there are 2 or 3 examples, like a sentence using figurative language, and you have to tell me which type it is. All right, the next thing I'm going to review is theme. If you remember, the theme of a story is the message. It's the underlying message or big idea that the author wants to tell us. Now, theme can be implied or stated. Remember, this means that the author can tell us directly, the theme of this story is, or it can be something that we have to think about. It could be something that after reading the story, we have to say, what was the author hoping that I got out of this story? So I don't remember how many questions there are about theme on the form, but if you need more review on theme, please go back and watch my video. I think we did 2 different lessons on theme. All right, the next thing we're going to review is text and graphic features. This should be super fresh in your mind because I did a lesson on this last week. All right. Text and graphic features, they are used to help us understand and add details to what we read. So if you remember, text features are things such as the title or captions on pictures or little sidebars on the side of a story or bold words or italicized words. And graphic features are things like pictures and illustrations and maps and graphs. Both of these help us add more detail to the story. They help us understand what's happening in the story. If you need more review on that, please go back and watch my video from last week. Or there's also another video from further back about it. All right, the last thing that your form is going to ask you to do is it's going to ask you to define a vocab word based on how it's used in the story. So we have done this every week. I've had you write your own definition. I've had you write it in a sentence. I've had you pick the definition, which are all really important ways for you to be able to tell me what the definition of this vocab word is. This week, I'm asking you to pick the correct definition based on a sentence that the vocab word is used in. So some of these sentences you've seen before, some of them you have not. I think there's only a couple of them. But one tip that I have for you guys on trying to pick the right definition is when I'm reading, and if I don't know what the vocab word means, sometimes I'll look at the definitions and put them back into the sentence. So it might not fit exactly, but that's a really good hint if you have no idea what definition to pick. So that is all that your assignment is on this week. It's all review. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or your homeroom teacher. I'm so proud of you, fifth graders. You have worked so hard these last couple of weeks. So let's finish this week strong. And next week, we just have really fun enrichment activities. So last week of new material, please work super hard. I will see you later. Bye.